everyone, and welcome to the comments section, a series where we sift through the many comments on the channel and go back and take a look at some things we may have missed and answer those questions that you guys have. Today we'll be covering the past 2 months and have content from zombies as well as the Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1 campaign. For our first comment here, we are starting off in Theif, on something I very recently covered in actually multiple videos. And that is about this little hidden room here right behind the Speed Cola machine, and there's been multiple comments talking about this. One of these such comments is by James Woolard, and he says that he recalls that Classified uses the window next to Speed Cola, although it seems that he's very much so not sure, so let's go ahead and find out. As it turns out here on Classified, the windows in the Speed Cola hallway are pretty much exactly the same. And we can see that inside of them, even modeling wise, although there is a lot more blood and a lot more things scattered around, the overall vibe of, say, this little projector room is pretty much the same. But if we go on through this hallway and take a right, we can see that that hidden room behind Speed Cola is completely gone. It just doesn't exist at all in Classified. It seems they very much so just straight up took it out of the game, knowing that it was an unused room and that they had no plans to use it in this game either. But connected to this hidden Speed Cola room was a little theory of mine. The reason I think they got rid of this window location is originally this one right here was going to be playable space, and the staircase going down towards the war room level was going to be the only way to get here, and that perhaps the elevator wasn't actually going to function. Or that this simply was just a backup in case they couldn't get the elevator to function. As back in 2010, getting a moving platform to work in a peer-to-peer matchmaking game was somewhat of a struggle. And to this end, T. Parkerino says that he fully subscribes to my theory. But someone by the name Lou Cooper says that the odds are unlikely. He says the area that I'm describing as a potential spawn was a room that was blocked off from the campaign mission, most likely USDD he's talking about here, as that's the one that you go into the Pentagon, and that the elevator is also a reused asset and it doesn't really make sense not to be used. But as it turns out, in the mission USDD, there is a door where this Speed Cola window location would have been, and it has a little front sign in front of it. But if you go through it, there is no room here whatsoever. In fact, there are no evidence of window locations at all in the campaign. Those are completely made custom just for the map 5. And on top of this, there is no staircase either on USDD. Here at the top, there is absolutely nothing, and at the bottom in the war room, the same can be said. There is no connecting door. The staircase, as well as the unused window location near Speed Cola, are completely made custom just for the zombies mode. So I would say this sort of points to my theory perhaps being correct, at least in some regard, although there could certainly be other reasons why they got rid of this window location. And to look a little bit further into this theory, a comment left by Advisor Buggy says that if we look at the TV screens on the main menu, we can see 5, but Quick Revive is at Speed Cola's location, and there's a doorway there that exists in USDD that was supposed to be a zombie window. That same unused window location behind Speed Cola that we've been talking about. And as it turns out, this comment is 100% correct. We get to see a snapshot in development of Theif, one where the Quick Revive machine was against a wall instead of, well, at the end of a hallway like it is in the current build. And right next to it is a doorway, and above it is a painting. The doorway that would have been right here, that is in USDD, and the painting that is covering the wall, we can see pretty clearly here in this menu screen picture, which is pretty insane to see. Although, I do want to say one other thing. And as ChewTag mentioned in the comment section as well, this could be a different hallway, the one that is unused and outside of the map just behind Quick Revive. As I do have another theory that this hallway was going to be playable space as well, and connect its way back towards the elevator instead of just being a window location over here. And this is quite obvious once you realize that there are window locations that are unused here too. And there's literally no reason for this to be here other than that. As just like that unused window location near Speed Cola, this is not present in USDD whatsoever. So it could be the case that that's where this camera is taken from, although I am very much so not sure. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. It's definitely one of the two hallways, as you can see the metal detectors there, very much so present in the picture. I'm just not entirely sure which one. For our next comment here on 5, we're gonna have to go ahead and turn on the power.
Power restored. We are now at DEFCON 1. Security lockdown active.
Ah, glorious. And we're sort of gonna cover 2 comments in one here, as there's one by Psychopathic here which addresses a mistake that I made in a recent video, saying that 5 was the first time that you could play zombies without a weapon in your hand, using the Pentagon Thief to take away your spawn pistol. But of course, as he says, this is not the case. You can actually be weaponless on any map with Pack-a-Punch. If you put your weapon into the Pack-a-Punch and you don't grab them, you just won't have any weapons. And pressing the shoot button apparently will just throw a grenade, if you have any, so let's go ahead and test that out too. Let us go ahead and Pack-a-Punch here on 5, throw our spawn pistol in there, and I suppose just leave it, although, look at those Mustang and Sallys. Man, this is so sad. There they go. That was depressing. But of course, now I have no weapon. There's literally nothing in my hands, and in fact, my hands aren't on the screen either. It's also kind of interesting to see that my character is still saying the voice lines for no ammo. So it seems that the game knows somehow. And if I click to try and shoot, well, nothing happens. It doesn't seem like I'm throwing a grenade, at least. Perhaps that's something that happens in World at War, or maybe another game. I'm not entirely sure. But of course, we do still have a knife, so I suppose this is a way to play zombies just as only Use Me Blade would, and only have the option to knife. Although, that's not exactly a very effective way to play zombies, is it?
Warning.
I'm out!
Breach detected on level 3. Initiate security protocol 115.
But this brings us directly into our next comment, which is about the Pentagon Thief here. As stated here by the Pink Space Dinosaur, in 5, be careful not to have the Pentagon Thief steal your weapon when you have none. It'll crash your game. So, let's go ahead and crash our game. We got no weapon. There's the Pentagon Thief. Oh, come on, do it to me. Do it to me. I think we're good. Wait, I think we're good. What happens if I kill him now, though? That's my question. Come here. Come here, buddy. Stop running from me.
What is this nonsense? Where are my rounds?
Okay. It gave me no gun back. So I'm not sure if this is something perhaps that only happens on console, but it seems to be very much so the case that this does not crash your game on PC. At least in the game's current state. Maybe this is something that was patched at some point, I have no idea. But I still have no gun, and I don't think I'm gonna fare well here. So I think we should move on to our next comment. 089SS says, I think the fall damage thing has to do with FPS. And in case you're wondering what he's talking about, in Black Ops 2 campaign, I can't seem to take enough fall damage to die. No matter what height I am at, it just doesn't kill me. Although here on the mission Karma, that seems to not be an issue. It killed me just fine. So I am not entirely sure what the problem is. It could very well be the case that fall damage is reduced for the mission Suffer With Me, or simply that my FPS for that game was different. I have no idea. Yet again, let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. But for our next comment, it is also about something I found in the Black Ops 2 campaign, and that's the sound of this RPD, a mountable weapon that you don't normally get access to. And I couldn't quite figure out what the placeholder sound was here that's being used. It sounds a lot like some of the older game sounds that were used, but Scarlet Crusader said that no sir, that is the sound of the LSAT. So let's get this side-by-side comparison done. For this test, we are using zombies, which shouldn't create much of an issue at all, and it just gives me easy access to the weaponry. So let us go ahead and buy the LSAT, which normally can't be done without knocking that down, but we've done it. And we'll try and go somewhere with the least amount of zombie interference. Now, I obviously can't hear this in real time, so I'm sure there'll be a pop-up on the screen telling you what I think, but let me know what you guys think as well down in the comment section. For our next comment here, we are going into the Black Ops 1 campaign this time. Back over to the mission Payback, where Fammy065 said if you are fast enough to go behind the soldier where the hind is standing, you can execute an unfinished stealth animation. And strangely, it works on the Wii, apparently, which would be really cool to see, but I don't have a Wii that works, unfortunately. But we can go back into the Black Ops 1 campaign and see if this unfinished stealth animation exists.
You see that hind? We're gonna take it.
Which, using a bit of no-clip and of course God mode, makes it very easy to get there in time. And you can see that there is a prompt to melee this one specific soldier. And when you do, some sort of jank animation plays out that is definitely not finished. It's very clearly an execution that's going on here, and in fact it seems like I'm slitting his throat or something. As you can even see a low poly knife here in one of these shots just sitting at the bottom of my screen. So I guess this part of the mission was originally going to have a little bit more spice to it, and perhaps a little bit more stealth as well. While here in the current version of Payback, it's just a massive shootout. And if you do want to try this yourself, it turns out you really do not need no clip to do this, as the prompt is there the entire time that this soldier is alive. It's just always right there behind him. All you have to do is get behind him without dying, of course, which might be a little bit difficult, but I'm sure you can manage on Recruit, and the prompt will be there for you to melee him and execute this animation. For our next comment here, we are back to Black Ops 1 Zombies. This time, Kino Toten, where right outside the map, of course, we can find this little hidden teleporter room, one of the ones that you go to collect the film reels. I stated in a recent video involving this room that this does not look like Verrukt, and instead the modeling is sort of more along the lines of Theif. And most likely this is some sort of American facility, which also, by the way, in that video, I forgot to mention there's another hidden room right here with no modeling other than 2 lights, but I guess it's a bit late for that, isn't it? But anyway, there was a comment left on the Hidden Rooms video by the Draken, saying that aren't the rooms with the dentist chairs on Kino literally copied and pasted from the Verrukt spawn? And that's why you see a weird black window that's one of the entry windows on Verrukt, next to Jug. So let us get a side-by-side comparison. I'm gonna line this up by looking directly at the dentist chair, and here is the exact same picture in World at War. And looking at these two side by side, it turns out that this commenter is exactly correct. The layout of the room is definitely copying the Verrukt dentist chair room. You can see the black one-way window looking texture in the exact same spot as the window location on Verrukt. On the right side in Kino, there's some cabinets with a sink, while in Verrukt, of course, these cabinets are not nearly as well done, and there is no sink, but it's still there in the same general place. And at the very back in Kino, there's this large cabinet-looking thing, while in Verrukt, it's a much smaller locker, but still in the same place. And what's crazy here is it's not just the general modeling that they copied. They even copied things such as bloodstains on the floor, and that same opening to that little hidden room I just showed a second ago. They're in the same exact place. And on top of this, also a decal on the wall of a very exaggerated handprint that's much larger and stretched probably than it should have been. And this handprint exists in both Black Ops 1 and World at War. So sorry, Draken, that I ever doubted you. You are 100% correct. Although the modeling has been changed here, this is very truly the American version of the Verrukt spawn room, even down to the same exact sounds that you can hear from the dentist chair. The winding of the drill, and the screams in the background. And what's crazy about this too is to the right, this little hidden room right here, I believe this is the Jug room. Like, Jug would be where this water jug is, funny enough. And even some of the modeling here is pretty close. Like, we have the same sort of bookshelves. And at the very back, where the window location is, it's that same black texture, just as in the main room over here. But for our last comment of the day, it's about this door right here, which I said in a recent video I thought was a really cool model for a door, and sort of wondered if it was used anywhere else in Black Ops 1. Well, a comment here by White Noise says the door texture is used by the main menu TV screens that play those clips and snippets, and at one point they even have a guy peeking into that same door. So once again, we are back to the TV screens here. which I'm not entirely sure if he's talking about the, like, normal version of this or the zombies version, but we'll take a look at both. When you're on sort of like the campaign version of this main menu, these TV screens actually play real life footage. Not a lot of this is from the game. You see things from rocket launches to different testing with pilots, as well as helicopters taking off and various speeches as well that have happened throughout history. If we go ahead and switch on over to the zombies screen, well, this is where we'll see a lot of gameplay. But for the most part, I don't really see this door that he's talking about. Although maybe I'm just missing it here, I can't seem to find it. But one thing I did notice is this door is used right here, as well as some other models from the room, such as the spotlights above us. But yeah, if we get close, we'll see that we're looking at actually the other side of the door. And going through it, it'll become very apparent this is the exact same model. So that is really cool to see. I guess they're kind of hinting that this little Verrukt facility is just right on the other side of the main menu. Even though, obviously, it's not, as you do go through this door in a later mission in the campaign, and there's just a hallway there. Oh, yeah, and by the way, the main menu exists in a big old box. And below it is an extra chair, as well as a TV screen that is actually playing video. Kinda cool. I actually love this, so I'm gonna take a sip of the coffee. Because of course, I have my coffee with me here this morning. I hope wherever you are, whatever time you're watching this, you're enjoying yourself. Because I absolutely love things like this. And I want to thank you guys so much for 25,000 subscribers. That is an insane goal that I once never thought I would reach. It's crazy to me that there's that many people out there that enjoy my content, and I will forever strive to make it better for each and every one of you. And these comment section videos are sort of a way to do that, to make a series that's really personal to you guys, my subscribers, and include you directly in it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, consider leaving a like down below. It helps me out a ton. And of course, make sure you're subscribed so you can come back for more. There are plenty more things to check out, and I can't wait to show them all. But that is it for me, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to watch more of my content, you can click one of the videos on your screen right now. But if not, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay awesome, and peace out.